What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here from GuitarJams.com. Hope you guys are doing well out there. I got a kind of beginner approach to slide electric guitar. You could actually do this on an acoustic guitar. It's great to practice slide on an acoustic guitar. Also, I'm in standard tuning. I'm going to just break down some of the techniques. You know, there's a lot of right-hand stuff involved, getting clean notes, and I've been learning it now for a few months, having fun. I'm going to pass it on to you. These are great over jam tracks as well, so I'm going to leave a link for some free backing tracks that you can practice this stuff over in that link right down there below this box. Okay, let's zoom in and do this now. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to talk about some basic slide guitar techniques that we want to start doing. A lot of it has to do with the right hand. Obviously, there's left-hand technique as well, but the main thing I want to talk about first is that we're going to use our thumb and our index finger to play notes. And for right now, this is just going to be an exercise. We're going to use our thumb on the D string, and we're going to use our index finger on the G string. Like that. All right? Now, the other part of that is that with my thumb, yes, I'm going to be hitting the D string there, but I'm going to rest my thumb on the strings above what I'm plucking to mute, because when you slide that slide, it's real noisy. And if you're not doing anything, even if you just play one note without muting with your right hand, you get something like this. Actually. When you mute, you get a single note. Okay? The other thing I'm doing is, like I said, we're plucking with our thumb and index finger, but the rest of our hand is going to be muting the strings down below. So, since I said we're going to focus on the D and the G string, I've got these two right here. My thumb is rested on top there. And then the rest of my fingers are kind of resting on the other strings. So we can hear the D when I pluck with the thumb, index when I pluck with the G, and then all the rest of my fingers and hand are muting the E and the A string with my thumb, and the B and the high E mostly with my middle and ring finger, like that, okay? So then now let's talk about the slide. We're going to just stick to an E blues kind of thing right now. So if without the slide, we'd be playing the E minor pentatonic. For the D string, it's the 12th and 14th fret. And we're just in standard tuning for right now. And then we've got the same thing on the G string. Grab the slide, and we want to be right above the metal fret. But the other thing we want to do is we want to mute behind the pick with these fingers, like lightly touching down. I use my middle finger. I've seen guys teach it with their index finger. Either one, but it stops the muting, so you're going to have to lightly rest one of these fingers behind it, touching the strings. So if you look at my right hand, I'm using my thumb there. The rest of the strings are all being muted. Now, including the G strings being muted with my index finger, so I'm keeping that down too. So I'm only doing that. Everything else is muted when I'm hitting that G string. Obviously, you got to work on your vibrato, and knowing the scale on one string is really helpful. And then you can play with the sounds in between the frets. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're going to practice that 12 to 14 with the slide. Then the thumb mutes the D string, and now my index finger is going to pluck this G string, and I'm going to slide a little bit below the 12th fret. And I could go all the way up to there if I want, but I'm starting a little bit behind there. So as soon as I go to my thumb, my index comes down and mutes the G, so you're only hearing the notes one note by itself. Look at my right hand. And one of the great expressive things about slide is hearing the slide from one note to another note. We can also get some of that effect with string bending, but the slide guitar really sounds the most like the human voice. So, muting everything you're not playing with the rest of your hand. We use our thumb for a note. We use mostly our thumb and index for notes, right? And whatever we're not plucking, we're muting with the rest of our hand. With the slide, we're going right above the metal fret to get the right pitch. I really recommend you doing this with jam tracks too. Right above the pitch, but then also some light touches with the middle finger behind it. And then what we did for this lesson was we were just focusing on the D and the G string. Well, if I look at the rest of the scale, all you're doing is you're just changing hand positions and using that same technique. So if I'm on the high E and the B, I could use my thumb for the B string. The rest of the strings are being muted with this part of my thumb and palm. And then my index finger's muting that high E. Okay, then index on the high E. See that? So then when I went to the B note, the B string, my index came back down and muted the high E. So work on 2 strings at a time, muting everything but what you're not playing. All right, that was it. Hope you got something from that. Remember, I got the free MP3 jam tracks for you down there.